Overhiring will lead to overspend and overwhelm and underperformance. In the beginning, it's like, oh, I just made $100, but you didn't. The company made $100 and you make your salary at that company.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Ashley Nicole Show. Okay, today we have a juicy episode and it's all about hiring your team. And really, we're going to be talking about when to hire, who you should be hiring, how to think about hiring. I'll even tell y'all where to find employees if you don't have a large budget, or contractors if you don't have a large budget. But also, I'm going to go behind the scenes of Team Speak Your Way to Cash. Because a lot of people are like, who do you have on your team? Why? What's going on over there? Who you hiring? What you doing? So I'm going to tell you guys all of that. It was a request under one of our videos. And so I cannot wait to get into this topic. So get your pens and paper out, because this is going to be one that every single entrepreneur needs to watch all the way until the end if you want to get all the gems. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, before we get started, I want to talk about the moment I decided to hire. Now, some of you all know this, some of you all don't, but I left a $300,000 law firm salary to start my own business. And when I was a lawyer, y'all, I worked at one of the largest law firms in the world, one of the richest law firms in the world. And I was the only Black woman in the litigation department of their Chicago office while I was there. Maybe it's gotten a whole lot more diverse now, but who knows with everything going on. I wouldn't be shocked if it hasn't. So I was in that department, and I was very supported. And when I say supported, I mean supported by a team. So I had a day team, which was my secretary, my paralegal, and my paralegal had a team. And then I had a night team, which was the overnight assistant team. And so 24 hours a day, I could wake up at 2 a.m. and have to get a brief done, and there would be an assistant that was ready. I could assign something to the overnight team and it would be on my desk by 6 a.m. So I've always been used to working in high pressured environments where you have 24-hour support. Like you're supported 24 hours a day. So when I became an entrepreneur, the first thing that I did was I hired an assistant, because what I did know was I was not going to leave $300,000 in one of the best teams in the world and then be on my own out here in these streets. So my mentality has always been have a team, because I had a team even in my day job. But in entrepreneurship, the difference is I didn't have the budget. So when I started, I left that firm, the assistants were not just assistants, they were incredible. They were the best at what they did. If you worked in the mailroom at my old firm, you were the best at what you did. Like everybody was just the best at what they did in their particular department. That's how they hired. So when I became an entrepreneur, and I'm like, okay, great, I want the best, but I don't have the budget for, to pay $200,000 for an administrator or anything like that. And so I was very concerned both about, was I going to be able to get the work ethic that I needed and also do it with the budget that I had. And at the time that I hired my first assistant, I didn't have any clients. I didn't have any budget. Now I had money saved up, which is what I used to kind of start my business. So the first role that I hired for was actually an administrator, but not to do what most people have their administrators do, which is manage a very busy calendar when there ain't no busy calendar because you just started this job. You don't have a whole lot of appointments. So for me, my administrator really served as a pitch assistant, meaning I would write out pitches that she would send. I would research calls and lists that I wanted her to call, and she would actually send pitch emails. And on my Instagram page, which is where I had my initial traction, because while I was in my day job, I was building my brand. I had a YouTube show that I started called Passion, Purpose, and Paychecks. I was taking photos on Instagram. And I don't even know when I got on Instagram, y'all. I wish I knew so I could tell you, but I think I came on Instagram in I don't know. I don't know. And I don't know if it'll tell me when I actually came on the platform, but I haven't been on Instagram forever, ever. So I got on Instagram and I was building my Instagram following up. And what she did was she would go and find every person who had a public Instagram account that followed me, get their emails from their public Instagram account and send them an email. Hey, we see that you follow Ashley. She actually has this thing coming up. Would you like to register? And that was what my assistant did. So she was pitching every single day. She would go and pitch podcasts for me to be on. She would go and pitch people who owned Facebook groups and say, hey, she would go and look at the administrator of the Facebook group. She'd try to find that administrator on Instagram, see if they had a public email, and she would pitch them and say, hey, Ashley would love to speak to your Facebook group about this. if she makes any sales from her speech, she'll give you a percentage. So she was doing work that would lead to sales. And if I could tell anyone who's just starting out, who's watching this, can I beg you, baby? Can I beg you? Please, baby, please do not hire an assistant if you are not going to have them do sales activities. If what you need more than anything in your business is sales and visibility, meaning you need more money and you need more people to know about what you do, then that is what your assistant should be focused on primarily. But we have thousands of paying customers now. And so now we need a team to handle the back end. And I actually want to hire someone else to be my right-hand assistant to just do what we did in the beginning, which is just sales and visibility. And so one of the things that I would say is like, that was the best thing we could have ever done. I stuck with her. It was just me and her until about $200,000-$300,000. Like it was me and her. Like we just, and of course her pay increased over time. But in the beginning, I think we paid her $200 a month and she was just pitching. And as the company grew, her income grew. And she still, to this day, she will still come back now and do part-time work for us. And what she told me, I don't know if it's still the case, and I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want her to get in trouble with other clients, but I was like her favorite person to work for because she was treated with respect. She was, she was just she's a big part of how we were able to grow. I, of course, brought the strategy, but she definitely brought the execution of the strategy, and I felt like I was in it with someone. And I think that that's critically important. My right-hand person now, very similarly, the reason why she's my right hand is because I feel like I'm in it with her. Like I feel like she cares the same way I care. She carries the same heart I carry for our clients, for our customers, and for our standard of excellence. And so I really love the team that I have now, but I also really love the woman that worked with me to start it all off. And so she comes back and does some projects time to time, but it's just a blessing looking back and thinking about it. I don't want to get emotional. But anyways, so my first girl, she did not come in here and just be like in Canva, managing my calendar that didn't have nothing on it. No, she was selling. Like, and I think that that's critically important, and I can't harp on that enough. But I want to start with this. What is the mindset that you need before you hire? The mindset that you need before you hire, y'all, is you need to understand you are not building a job. You are building a business. And when I say you are not building a job, that means you are not building a place where you come and you just work a job. You're not a solopreneur. And if you are a solopreneur and that's what you desire, then that's fine. But if you're building a business, that's very different than being a solopreneur. That means even when you are the only one doing things, you have to document things that you are doing as if that is for someone else to do. Whatever you don't document, whatever role you don't document is a role you get to keep for the rest of your life. So even when it was just me, and I have to say, I hired her before I had my first client. So it was almost always someone else helping out. Even when I worked in my job and I was trying to do a speaking tour on the side, I hired a assistant who was a law student, and she cold called law schools for me to do my first speaking tour for my first book, which is called The Law School Hustle. And that that book teaches you how to go from how to get good grades in law school so that you can get a really high paying job. It's called How to Get the Grades, Get the Job, and Get the Check. So look at that copy. I was writing copy back in the day, okay? And that book, I think, was released in 2018, if I'm not mistaken. It's still out there. It's called The Law School Hustler. And I had a trademark for the term hustloyer. And we had like merch and stuff. It was cool. So even then I had an intern and I didn't pay her anything, but I like trained her up and taught her, and that was what it was. So I've always known that I like having some level of support. I think that you also need to become the type of person who's okay with getting support, because even though I like having support, my mindset still is, don't nobody want to do this. Like, I don't want to give someone this job. It's like really boring. It's mundane. It's tedious. I don't want to put them in that position. I think that that's just something you got to get over. But I still do feel that like, I need someone to do this, but who wants to do this job? Like, even with having a personal assistant, like I need someone to pick up my laundry. I need someone, because that's not the highest and best use of my time. It's not that I'm too good to do it. It's just that it'd be better if someone else could do it so I could focus on making the next $1 million. Like, that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on developing my team. I want to focus on getting my clients more results. I want to have more programs and offers for my clients. I want to make sure that they're doing well. I want time on my calendar to just call them. Hey, how you doing? What's going on? Are you doing okay? Are you doing good? Like, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where I want my focus to be. I do think that it's critically important that we do that and that we show up in that way, okay? So there's that. That's number one. Number two, You don't make all of the money in your business just for you personally. That money is for the business. And so a portion of that money needs to go to team. I think in the beginning, it's like, oh, I just made $100, but you didn't. The company made $100 and you make your salary at that company. So shifting that mindset from all this money is mine, they're taking my money, to like, no, this money is the company's money and you make a percentage of that money. And so as a salary. And so like that was a big mindset shift, is that your business is not your personal bank account. So that's a big shift. And if you don't make that shift, you won't hire, because you'll be like, ooh, but I need that. That's my money. And they're taking my money. And da-da-da-da. No, that's not going to work. We are going to get back to this good episode in just a second, but I have a question for you. Can I help you build a $25,000 offer, like one that you could sell to small businesses or large businesses alike? And can I do it for free? Because that's exactly what I'm doing at the end of this month at the Your First Corporate Offer Summit. For 2 days, I'm going to show you on day 1 how to build your corporate offer, and on day 2 how to sell your corporate offer. And it's going to blow your mind. We have had thousands of students sign up for this summit, and they have always gotten value. But I feel like you're VIP if you're watching this episode. So if you get a VIP ticket, I'm going to hand deliver to you 50 corporate offers and the prices that you can charge for them, so you don't even have to think about whether or not this offer is quote unquote good. Now, we're also going to give you an opportunity to upgrade to a platinum ticket, which would allow you to get one-on-one coaching from me during the summit. Everyone with a platinum ticket gets at least one-on-one question time with me during the summit. So you get to ask your question, come on Zoom, and I'll coach you live right there. Look, whether you get a free ticket, a VIP ticket with the workbook, or you upgrade from VIP to platinum, you are going to have a great time. And if you want to sell higher tiered offers, this is the summit that you have to attend to. So go to speakyourwaytocashsummit.com and get a ticket to the Your First $25,000 Offer Summit. And I'll see you there. You need to ask yourself, am I hiring out of overwhelm or based on ROI? Overwhelm makes bad hiring decisions every day of the week. So sometimes you get to the point in your business where you're like, I need to hire, and and you're overwhelmed, and you're gonna make bad decisions by that. The question isn't, can I afford this person? It's, can I afford not to have this role filled by someone excellent, and do I have the system to support them? So I had to go from, okay, I'm gonna hire this person, and this is what I thought in the beginning. I'm gonna hire this person, and then they're gonna do all this work. It's gonna be so great. That's not really how it works. Typically, you hire someone and then they have to work within the system you hire them for. So before you hire the person, you need to create the system. What do I mean by that? Before you hire a social media manager, you need to have a system for where are they going to post it? How are you going to get them the copy? Or what's the system for them creating the copy? So like right now, I make reels, and then my team will get the transcript of my reels, put that in a GPT that we have created, and then the GPT will take the transcript and create a caption that sounds like me. So that's the system. It's the steps. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. The step to go from this task is not even completed to this task is all the way done. It's written. These are the tech tools she's going to use. That is the system that she works with. And then I can hire the person, and all the person has to do is work the system. It's not hard. You got to make the system before you get the person, especially if you don't have a big budget. If you have a big budget, then you can hire a leader, and the leader can create the system, and then they can hire other people to work the system. But if you don't have a big budget, you're going to hire someone who's going to need step by step, baby. The lower the budget, the more detailed your directions are going to need to be. That's what we found. Now, warning, overhiring will lead to overspend and overwhelm and underperformance. Let me break that down, because this is a mistake that I've made. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. We have so much to do. I'm just going to hire somebody to do it. And then you hire them, and they're like, okay, twiddling their thumbs. So what you want me to do? And then you realize, oh crap, I'm going to have to give them what to do. Oh crap, I'm going to have to do this every day. Oh crap, I don't have time to do this. Oh no, this is making me more overwhelmed, because now I have to explain everything and give them access to everything. And it's not going to work. If you're overwhelmed, the first thing you need to do is figure out, what is the system? Like, first off, why am I overwhelmed? What is the system that I can create so that when I hire this person, I am not then so what do I do? Like for me, I know the best practice, of course, someone comes in, like think about corporate, you come in, 90 days onboarding. You ain't doing nothing for the first 3 months. You doing a little training, watching some videos, you meeting everybody. Ooh, show me where the coffee machine is. In entrepreneurship, day one, baby, I got tasks, okay? And so it's very different when you work for a startup. I've worked for startups, well-funded startups. And on day one, it was like, okay, you're gonna have this little orientation, but then on day two, baby, this is what you're gonna get to work. And so we're a startup. You don't have a 90-day period where you're just twiddling your thumbs, getting paid for doing nothing. Absolutely not. I create the system now. I used to overhire. I would be overwhelmed. They'd be asking me what they're going to do every day asking me a million questions. I would overspend on team and I would get very few results. And so that is just not how we do it now. Now we automate our onboarding. So when you get hired, everyone starts off on a 30-day trial. That 30-day trial is great because it allows me to evaluate their performance in real time. I create an Asana board. The Asana board has what's their daily, their weekly, and their quarterly tasks. And then after they have those weekly and daily and quarterly tasks, I give them a manager or a check-in. They have to report what they do each day, like there's actual reporting. Like, this is what you're gonna do each day, or this is what I got done each day, this is what's still outstanding that's on my task bank. So I know what every person is working on. They fill out a daily form. That daily form says what they got done that day. You need systems, especially when you have a virtual team, because you can look up and be like, everybody's virtual. You can't go in their office and kind of see what they're working on. And so they may or may not get things done. That's on you though, because if you didn't give them anything to get done, you don't have a way for tracking what they get done, you don't have a way to track their hours, then you're going to be overwhelmed. So before someone comes on, especially full time, I want to know, what are they doing that needs to get done right now? Because there's no point in me overspending on a role that doesn't necessarily require that, okay? So your mindset literally has to shift from doing everything to documenting everything. That's a big piece. Now, when are you going to hire so that you don't regret it later? You're going to hire when you have a proven offer that works, revenue is coming in, and you've documented your process, even if it's a messy documentation. And documenting can also look like you recorded yourself on Loom doing something, so they at least have a process that they can follow. You're going to need to know, how are they going to get access to tools? If you don't want to be the one giving everyone access, what system can you set up, like we use LastPass, to actually give everyone access to different tools? Don't hire if you don't know what they'll be responsible for. Don't hire if you can't afford to pay them for at least 3 months. And don't hire if you just want to get stuff off your plate, but you don't have a plan. I know you want to get stuff off your plate, baby. I know in my heart I want to get stuff off my plate right now. But if I don't have time to create the system, I definitely don't have time to onboard the person. Even for the cleaners for our house, we needed to hire cleaners. We needed a system though. So before we brought in a new cleaning team, we invested in having a professional organizer come out and organize our home. She did an excellent job. One day I'll show you what she did on my YouTube channel. But she did an excellent job. And that helped because now when cleaners come in, I'm like, look, this stuff is already set up. All y'all got to do is clean and maintain. And not only did she organize our home, she labeled everything. So now they know, oh, this is a camera. This goes in the camera box. This is her daughter's flashcards. This goes in the flashcard box. This is her closet. All her heels go downstairs on this, and they are color-coded. These are orange. This goes in the orange section. That is the same level of systemization that you need in your business. Like, oh, we're creating social media posts. We create that with Metricool. We post on these 5 platforms, but we make sure the call to action is this for Twitter, this for this, this for this, this for this. We create different captions. This is the LinkedIn caption GPT that she's created. For those of you who don't know, a GPT is basically like you can pre-train AI to ask your team certain questions so that, and give it certain information so that you get the same results each time. So like our GPT will say, please give us the transcripts for Ashley's video, and then it'll give them the transcript. My team will give them the transcript. Then it'll say, okay, great. Based on this transcript, this is the caption for LinkedIn. This is the caption for Twitter. This is the caption for this. That way it knows how to create captions for different platforms, and it can be native for that platform. So that's something to keep in mind. A GPT is like AI. We use AI plus people to get more done faster. So you want to hire when you have an offer that works, when you have the budget. We like to be within 30% of our recurring revenue. So if we have recurring revenue that we like to hire, whatever that recurring revenue looks like, we like to hire 30% of that. That's how we like to do it. I think it just keeps it simple and clean, and it ensures that we are not overspending on team. You know, that's a big, big, big thing. And then we use a combination of full-time employees and contractors, which leads me to my next point. Now, before I go there, we hire internationally a lot. That's how I started. So it's like where I'm very comfortable. So we hire on Upwork. You can sort by different countries and it can find you people. We hire on onlinejobs.ph. For Filipino talent, it's a Filipino work job board, and it's great. And you can hire and when we say hire, it's like, oh, what do you pay? I mean, we pay all types of things. You can ask ChatGPT to give you the average salary for something, but we have paid, if we hire internationally, there's some jobs, jobs can be posted internationally anywhere from $5 to $15 an hour, $5 to $10 an hour. They can be posted in the US anywhere from $25 to $35 an hour, maybe even $50 an hour, depending on what it is. We have salaries. Your salaries are going to range. You should do what's called a salary analysis. You can just ask ChatGPT, hey, what's the average salary for a videographer in my state for a company that has less than 5 employees? And it'll give you apples to apples. It could do an analysis on that for you. That way you kind of know what's up. But you are a small company, so don't feel bad. Like, we're a small company. Like, we're not a Fortune 500 company. And if you are going to pay for a role, you're going to have the same pay scale as a Fortune 500 company, then that person needs to be able to produce the same way a Fortune 500 executive would be able to produce. They need to be able to 5X their salary. They should at least be able to bring in 3 times their salary or free you up so much that you're able to bring in 3 times their salary. You need to make sure, though, that you're not just bringing people on and they're not adding to the bottom line. That's not acceptable. So that's one thing. So let me introduce you to my team and kind of what roles we've hired for. That way you can kind of gauge what this may look like for you. And this is not a roadmap. This is not like, this is what you should do. We have people who work in sales, people who work in marketing, people who work in operations. I'm the CEO. I cast the vision. I have a vision for our company. We want to solve small business sales problems for entrepreneurs. We want to help the real experts outsell the fake ones. But our real vision is like, we want to solve the small business sales problems for entrepreneurs. How that looks tactically, our team knows we want to help 1,000 experts make their first $1 million in speaking, coaching, and consulting revenue. And that is what we aim to do. And so we track that every year. Where are our wins coming from? How many clients landed 5-figure contracts? How many landed 6? How many grew their business? How many increased their leads? How many were able to make more this year than they made last year? How many were able to, we are tracking those numbers and that data. So I am here to cast vision. I am here to create content because that's a large part of our visibility strategy. I am here to make the high-level sales strategy. So I will write the sales plan and I'll say, hey, we're going to make these calls every day. We're going to put out this content for this launch. And I also run the ads. Now that's not necessarily everyone's, and I'll tell you this. You're like, oh, what does a CEO do? That's what I do as the CEO. Other CEOs may do different things. I'm in charge of high-level hiring. I'm in charge of casting the vision. I'm in charge of terminations if they need to happen. I'm in charge of high-level sales strategy. I kind of sit as the CEO and the director of sales. And so I will develop the plan for sales. I may have to do a part of that plan, but for the most part, our team is executing our sales plans. Chris is our COO, and he also works as, sales lead in especially our in-person event sales and our launch sales. He's doing HR and hiring. So when I say HR and hiring, he's physically he's running the payroll. He's doing those things. He's also in my vision casting meetings. So when I'm trying to figure out we're changing directions or I want to do something different, I'm always talking to Chris about it. So he's a part of that. Our launch manager, she runs all of our launch events like clockwork and manages the execution of our launch and sales plans. She trains the team on what they need to do in order to make the launches successful. As you all know, we are launching 1 to 2 times a month. So that role is critically important. Our project manager keeps all of our tasks and our timelines tight and does all of our pre-launch testing to make sure that all of our funnels work and things are in line. And then she's micromanaging the tasks of the team and helping them to make sure that their roles are accomplished. And then also she knows what people are supposed to do daily, weekly, and monthly, and helping to manage the team with that in that regard as well. Our videographer captures our content and our videos and our photos in real time. He's full-time on the team. So is our launch manager, and our program manager is on the team as well. Our video editor is full-time, and he edits all of our YouTube and puts them into Reels. So our full-time videographer is doing our Behind the Build series, some of our YouTube videos, traveling with me to all of our in-person events, and recording all of our content at events, all these tours and stuff. He's doing all the content for those events. He is my videographer. So at our live event, he's recording all of our behind the scenes. He's doing all that stuff. We have a full-time editor. He gives us 15 reels a week that he is editing, and those reels typically come from our YouTube channel. We have a sales outreach associate that does cold calls. Well, not cold calls, but they call, like, let's say you register for our launch. She's going to call and remind you that it's happening. So every day she's on the phone making calls to those people. And, you know, she's under kind of the sales side of our business. Then we have our social media schedule on the marketing side of our business. Our video team will be on our marketing side. And our sales, it's like me, Chris, and then our sales associate. On our marketing side is our videographer, our video editor, our social media scheduler who's scheduling all of our social media content. And she's the one who schedules 10 YouTube shorts to go out a day. So she is really handling taking all the content that I make with the video team and then just making sure it gets out, helping to respond to comments and manage leads and handle any questions that come in for that. Then we have a graphic designer who's doing all of our pre-launch content and graphics, making those beautiful PDFs that you all get, designing our book covers and things like that. We have a funnel builder, builds all of our digital funnels and handles all of our automations. We have an overnight manager who handles admin and outreach and back-end support. She also manages our Filipino team because she's on their time zone. We have our coaches and our experts. So in our mastermind, you don't just get me, you get a team of experts. So they're contractors. You have our coaches who is coaching our clients one-to-one. She also coaches in the membership. We have our ads consultant who is advising us on strategy. He's not on payroll. It's just a consultant. So we bring him in every now and then. We have 2 ads consultants actually. And then we have external video teams that we hire from time to time. Those are on contract. Now, that's pretty much our day-to-day. Every month, we are running a payroll. And I'll tell you, our payroll between full-time team members and contractors that are on a monthly stipend or we're on a long-term contract with them, it's anywhere from on the lowest end, $30,000, on the higher end, $60,000 every single month of just people that support the vision. And I don't know, for some people, they're like, that's low, that's nothing. And some people are like, that's high, that's a lot. So that is what it is. You know, that's what it is in terms of our payroll. Common mistakes that we've made that I want you all to avoid when hiring for titles and not outcomes. Oh, my coach told me I need to hire a sales associate. So we hired a sales associate, but then they get there, you don't got no leads for them. That's not good. Skipping training. No one is plug and play. So if you're going to bring someone on to do a specific task, you need to have training for that specific task. Not setting performance metrics from day one. They need to know what success looks like. And they need to know what it looks like if they're not successful. Thinking that contractors don't need leadership. Now, I used to be an employment lawyer, so I know like legally there's things that you cannot do with contractors that you can do with full-time employees. And that is something to consider. But even if you bring someone on contract, you need to set your expectations clearly and in writing, and everyone needs to be on a contract. And if they're coming on contract to work for you, you need to own their work output. They need to be on a non-compete, on a non-disparagement. Even like if you bring in an outside videographer, because we have a full-time videographer, our outside video team cannot be hiring my videographers. Like, no, because we train them. They work for us full-time. That is a conflict of interest. So you need to make sure that everyone understands your parameters. They need to understand what is okay, what's not okay. You need to have non-disparagement clauses. You need to make sure that if they don't deliver your work on time, that there is a penalty for that. If you don't remember nothing else from this video, what's not clear will get confused. It's self-explanatory, but like, if you don't set clear expectations, I hope you plan on getting confusing results. Because without clear expectations, people, and it's not even that they'll take advantage, they'll just fill in the blanks themselves. And you don't know what they got going on in their mind. You don't want them filling in the blanks. Be clear. Put it in writing. When you give directions to your team, it helped me so much if I just make Loom videos. This is exactly what I'm thinking. Even with like my stylist, I give videos. Like, this is what I like. This is what I don't like. You know, you want to make sure that's clear. You also want to make sure that, I've made so many mistakes with hiring. in the hiring process, which we didn't even get into, I think you should show up in your hiring process like you're going to show up day to day. I don't think you should do the hiring process. And people are like, oh, put your best foot forward in the interview. I actually don't do that. I am very honest in my interviews. I'm like, hey, you're going to come here, you're going to work. I know that people come here to work. They're like, oh, Ashley going to be like my own personal Oprah. She just going to mentor me every day and give me positive quotes, just like on YouTube. I'm not, okay? And so I like to be very honest and transparent. And the way that you come to work here is the way that you're going to work here. I give you Loom videos and directions in the hiring process, because you're going to get Loom videos and directions when you work here. You're going to do a written interview and you're going to do an in-person interview, and that in-person interview is going to have tests attached to it, because when you work here, I need to see how you think straight up. Like, I don't hide who I am. I'm very honest about what you're going to get and what it's going to look like. I just feel like I think that if people were more honest and transparent in the hiring process, people would be happier at work. So they'd know exactly what they were getting into. Like, you're going to be a part of an amazing mission. You're going to have a lot of good times. It's going to be great. You're going to learn more than you've learned working for anybody else, because my standard of excellence is so high that if you work here with me, you are going to develop skill sets that's going to make you a beast in any job you ever work at after me. And I want you to be successful after me. I don't, I'm not like, oh, I only want you to be here forever. It's like, if you decide to leave and you leave on good terms, I want you to be successful. I will write your letter of recommendation. We've had people work for me and they go on and they get like huge jobs that I've supported them in getting, because they did a great job for me and it was a good opportunity for them. And so I supported them in that. That's how I am. But also, if you don't do good work for me, then I'm not going to support you in that. Like, I'm not going to be writing this letter lying to your next boss. They always show up on time. I mean, they were late 50% of the time, but I'm going to say they always, no, I'm not going to do that either. If you don't want to work hard, be great, be excellent, show up, learn more than you've ever learned anywhere else, care about our team, care about our people, care about your work. Don't just do the task, care about the outcome. If you're not that kind of person, I don't want you to work here. Because we have a team full of like people who care a lot about what they do. And we got a lot of A players on this team. So I don't want to bring on a D player, and now my A player is looking at me like, why we bring this person slowing us down? Like, it is what it is. So I don't show up to interviews like, this is about to be your personal fairy tale. I show up to interviews and I'm like, this is what we're looking for. Your experience looks like it's good for this. This is like, I just feel, show up, be you, who you are. Because if you curse every day in your office and then you show up to the interview acting like you're a minister, I think that people are going to be drastically confused. So I don't show up in a way that I'm not. So no one is going to come here and be like, oh, I worked here, but in the interview, she said this, but then what it really was like this. Like, I don't do that. I don't even have to do that. We have so many people that want to work here. I don't have to do that. So I just show up who I am. I'm going to tell you the truth about what the work is going to be. And then boom, you gonna know what it is. So I think it is a huge mistake to show up to interviews acting like Mary Poppins when you know good and well y'all about to get to some work. Like, you might as well just be who you are. In closing, I will say, in your job descriptions, tell the truth. If you write your job description in a particular way, like I love starting a job description with, if you are A, B, C, and D, this is for you. If you are A, B, C, and D, this is not for you. Like, even in your job description, use the tone of voice of the company. And then in the job description, another thing that we've done that has been really helpful is we put, here's what your day will look like. Here's what your week will look like. Here's what your month will look like. Your task may include A, B, C, and D. And we have people do a core values interview. So they present a video, or if it's in person, they present a presentation on what their core values are. And I'll never forget, we had someone who applied to work for us and she was really good. We found out she actually lied about having a degree. Now, you actually don't have to have a degree to work here, but you can't lie about having one. Does that make sense? So like, it's not a real requirement, but then we found out she lied. It's just like, it's tough because one of our core values is integrity. And so we had to decide, are we gonna hire within our core values or not? And I think that core values only live if you give them life. And by giving them life, I mean, you make decisions in alignment with them. And then if someone doesn't align with those core values, you make the decision to release them. And for every entrepreneur who's watching this, who doesn't have a big team yet, or you wanna have a team and you wanna grow as a team, the biggest mistake that I made was thinking my team would grow past me. Thinking that they would just they would just on their own develop past me. They'd be reading all these self-help books and just keep getting better and da-da-da. It's like I had to show up as a different leader in order to get a better team. And even now, there's some leadership things that I really need. Like, I don't like meetings. That's a bad thing for a leader. Leaders have to have meetings and coach people and meet with them one-on-one and see what they're talking about and all of that stuff. Like, that's a real area of improvement for me. And then another area of improvement for me is just like, I move really fast. So I like when you move really fast, but everyone learns differently. So some people will hear something in a meeting and they'll instantly have feedback for me because they get it. They're quick with like that. Other people are very brilliant and very smart and very quick, but maybe not like super speed. So they need to go back and watch the video again, and then they can come to me with their thoughts. But I can get better at like, just taking that time and being like, yeah, think about it. Let's talk tomorrow. That's not that's not how I am. Like, I'm more like, what do you think? Like right now. Because that's how I move. And so here's the thing, right? The thing is, I can work on getting better at that because it's what the business requires. And I can put someone in place who has that, who can handle the team in that regard, because that's really what they need. It doesn't have to be you. It just needs to be someone. And I've gotten better at releasing and relinquishing control, but I am controlling, like not in a toxic way, but like one of the reasons why a lot of us become entrepreneurs is we like to have control over things. We sometimes, people who like control, we think we have control over more things than we actually have control over anyways. And so I had to release control of outcomes. So I'm going to give my team the best information possible. I can control that. I can't control how they interpret it or how they execute on it, but I can check it. And if I can check it and they're not doing that, I can give them feedback, and then I can give them time to get better at that. And so, I'm a little controlling. It's a thing. So the way that I have to deal with that is I have to control the system that I put them in, make sure it's good, make sure it's up to speed, make sure it's up to date. I have to take ownership when I give bad or unclear directions and know that there's going to be consequences for that. And then I have to then release control and let them interpret the directions the way they want, because maybe they have a different way of doing it. So I can't control exactly how they do their job. But if it gets to the same outcome, then it's okay. And that leads to innovation. That lets them think and be creative and have more freedom in their job. And so those are some areas that I could improve too as a leader. There's more, y'all. There's a lot of areas I could improve as a leader. I think the closer I get to God, the more I feel the Holy Spirit reveals to me areas that I need to work on. And the more I can at least see those areas, the better I can get in those areas. But I can't, stand before y'all and be like, I have team figured out. I am perfect at hiring. That's not even what I sell. I do have a really good team through trial and error. And we have a really good hiring process because it's really intense and it gets us people who are willing to do the work. Our hiring process really does weed out a lot of nonsense. And I can say this definitively, people who make it here more than 30 days typically last here for years. Like if you get through, because that 30 days, if I know, I know someone is going to make it or not in 30 days. For sure. Mm-hmm. Have I been surprised? Yeah. But typically when I'm surprised, it's not because they can't do the job. It's because their character reveals themselves over time. We have had people who have, stolen our IP. We have had people who've come in and been like, oh, Ashley does it, I could do it. I'm just going to copy her and try to take her clients, and it never works. But we've had people do that. We've had people come in to try to learn our system and never intended of doing any work, but they wanted to know how we train, because if you come in as a coach, like we have a coach academy. If you come in as this, we have a this academy. We have good training and good systems. But at the end of the day, people can try to steal from us. And of course we have contracts, and we have a legal team that does enforce those agreements against people. If you want to try it, you can. You can do all that. But really, the reason why Speak Your Way to Cash is successful, the reason why we're successful, is like the heart of what we do. And you cannot duplicate the heart of what we do, because if you're a thief, you don't have the heart to do it anyways, because you're a thief. That is in your heart. So it's like, you can't duplicate the heart of what we do. The way our community feels, the level of woman that we attract, the level of man that we attract, the caliber of person that we attract. It's just like, it's really hard for people to just come in and be like, oh, I'm just going to see it, then I'm going to do it. No, you're not. But that said, that has taken me off guard. I've been really hurt by that. Like, I've been like, dang, that really sucks. Like, that hurt my feelings. I can't believe they did that. And you know what I do? I just hire someone else. Because if you let that hurt stew, oh, they stole from me. Oh my God, I'm so sad. Now I'm not going to hire anyone else. If you let it stew, you're just going to delay the inevitable. And the way that I think about it is, let's say you hire someone and they're malicious. They're not good. They steal from your company. Maybe they steal money. Maybe they steal ideas. Whatever they do, they steal. They're not good. They try to steal clients. They're just malicious people. Really, what they are is insecure people. They don't believe in what God put on the inside of them. So they try to steal and take what God put on the inside of you. But what God put on the inside of me is untouchable. So you can't touch my soul. You can't steal that, right? But like, here's the thing. Let's say they do that. And let's say because of that, you're so scared to hire anybody else because of this one bad employee. Let's call this employee X. Safest way to do it. Employee X was not good. Came in, stole, they were malicious, they did not do what they were supposed to do. And now you're scared of hiring new people because of employee X. The way I think of it, which allowed me to get over employee hurt, because let's talk about it. People talk about coaches being scammers. I have been scammed more by clients and team than I've ever been scammed by a coach. How can a client scam? Oh, well, I have great clients, so I'm not saying that this happens often, but I've had people come in, take IP, and then do like a chargeback. You're a scammer, right? I've had employees come in, not do a lick of work, and then charge me for 40 hours a week. You're a scammer. You're a thief. That's called time theft. I've been scammed in those ways more than I've been scammed by someone I pay. If I pay you to give me some information, I am a smart enough and reasonable enough person to ask you the questions I need to ask you to get the information I need. Even if your portal sucks, I'm going to ask you the questions that I need to ask the coach to get the knowledge that I need. So I don't get scammed by coaches often. Even the ones that weren't good, I still was able to ask a question to get the value that I needed to get. So there's that. I've been scammed. People don't talk about that type of scam. And I know that's uncomfortable to say, but like, hello, somebody. If anyone's been in the same boat, just say me too in the comments. Cause I'm like, how are y'all getting scammed by these coaches? Like, why don't you just ask them the question that made you buy the thing in the first place and then move on? Hire somebody else better next time. But like, team and customers that come in and do chargebacks because they petty and ignorant. And what they don't realize is they're just sowing theft into their own business, so it almost never works out for those people, but still. Employee X, back to the point. Y'all know I be getting off track. Employee X does all this bad stuff. Now you don't want to hire nobody else. That means you're allowing employee X to make all of your hiring decisions. And we don't trust employee X. We don't like employee X, okay? Pray for them, hope they do well, but we don't like the character that they've exhibited. So I don't want employee X to make all of my next hiring decisions. So when employee X hurt my little feelings as a little CEO because I thought we was cool and I thought I did right by them and all of that, thought this, thought that, whatever, I have to hire someone else fast so that I don't let the fear of being betrayed again make my hiring decisions. If you let that make your hiring decisions, y'all, you're not gonna grow, okay? And we don't wanna not grow. We wanna grow. Growth is good. So there's that. That's how I do that, okay? So in wrapping it up, before you post that job description or bring someone on board, map out your org chart. Even if it's just a vision for the future, you could do a vision casting of what your org chart is gonna be. Before you bring someone on board, map out the system that they're gonna work within. Before you bring them on board, make a 30-day plan for them so they know what deliverables are they gonna give you within the next 30 days that is going to give you ROI. Before you bring someone on board, make sure you understand that you cannot lead people if you are not able to lead yourself. So you are going to have to uncover the areas of your life that are not good, the qualities that you have that you're not proud of. You're going to need to do some therapy. You're going to need to do some soul searching, some prayer, whatever it is, you're going to need to do it because it is a lot of work leading people. It's a big responsibility and it is fun. And it is a blessing that people trust you enough to lead them and they're setting their budgets around what you pay them. All of that is dope. But real talk, it's just a responsibility and it's a weighty one. So when you bring on team, I consider my team my internal customers. So I have external customers, that's you guys. I have internal customers, that's my team. And I have to make sure that I'm providing a good experience for them. And it is a responsibility. And I got to provide a good experience for them and pay them. Now, it's easier for external customers because obviously you're providing a good experience for y'all, but y'all paid for that experience. So you want to make sure that you are, you're doing what you can to really lead your team. And I'm always working to get better as a leader. So y'all need to go out there and hire. Now, if you have not already, make sure you sign up for the Your First Corporate Offer Summit, which is coming up at the end of the month. I want to make sure that you all get your ticket for that or get your ticket for the next one. If that one is already passed, go to www.speakyourwaytocashsummit.com. And if you do not already have your ticket for Speak Your Way to Cash Live, which is in October, it's our annual event. Everybody from all over the world is coming to it. Then you need to get your ticket for that as well. And I want to see you there too. Go to speakyourwaytocashlive.com and get your ticket. I'll see you there. But if this is a good episode, you guys, you all asked for this episode, so I made it. Let me know in the comments and I'll make more content like this. See you soon.
Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. Energy high, excuses low. I need energy, need only good people that's around me. All the faith you can give, that's the recipe.